Does this feel like a stretch of time that's pretty critical? It's the end of this home streak, All-Star game coming up. It's time to make a move, maybe?
I mean, I feel like every point is critical. I wouldn't really say All-Star is viewed as critical. I feel like that's just a fun thing. I feel like this stretch, this is a big game for us. I think we've struggled in the fact that we're able to play one good game, and then we play a bad game, then we play a good game, then we play a bad game. So I think for us is like we got to find a way to be able to stack really good games together, and then we go on the road, and we're on a back-to-back, which is just a challenge in itself. No matter who you're playing, we play Connecticut, then we play New York. So I think Steph's message was, yes, All-Star's coming up, that break's coming up, but our focus is on these 3 games that we have left. So in that sense, I do think it's critical that our focus just remains on the game in front of us, and I feel like that's what everybody in the locker room is doing.
Yeah. Hi, Kaitlin.
Hello.
You've had such a spectacular shooting career that the last 5 games have been the closest thing you've ever had to what could be called a slump.
For sure.
What, from your perspective, what's going on?
I mean, I don't think it's anything mechanically or something wrong with my shot. It's just basketball. And I was talking to our player development coach yesterday, and he was like, just sent me a few things of like even Steph going through a slump. I think he was like 27 for his last 70 or something like that. Like the best in the world go through it. And I think that's like where you can find your confidence. And I think the thing I always fall back on is like, I know how hard I've worked. So, this isn't something that's going to last, and the best players in the world go through this. So, I feel like I'm getting good shots, and I think that's why it's frustrating, because those are the shots that I make. And, I felt like in the Atlanta game, like I was really proud of myself. I felt like that was one of the best floor games I've played, honestly, in my career in the W. And, it can be frustrating when your shot isn't going in the way that you want it to. But then like I look at the box, and it's like I'm really 4 shots away from having a really good game, a really good shooting game. So that's where you find your confidence. And I know those are shots that I can make, and I'm never going to stop shooting. So, I mean, until I break out of it, I'm just going to keep launching, and that's all I know. And I'm still confident in everything that I can do.
Hey, Kaitlin. You've known Paige since middle school, AAU. You guys were on the U19 World Cup team together. Is there anything that maybe stood out then about her, whether it be on or off the court, that maybe still reigns true today?
I mean, I feel like she's played in the same manner that she, has since she was, whether we were on the U16 team together, U19 team together, whether it was me watching her in AAU. Like she's always just been smooth. She takes what the game gives her. Her midi has always been as nice as it's been this year. She's just like, she just plays way older than she is. Like she's confident, she's smooth, she just does everything at a high level, can score from all 3 levels. And that's how she's always played. And that's obviously translated really well. So, and everybody knew that it would. But yeah, I think it's just that her ability to just be a smooth and go with what the game's going to give her. She's never going to force anything. I think it's always been that, and she's just continued to stay true to that.
To piggyback off that, Kaitlin, how much, friendship is there throughout the years, but also what is it like to compete against someone where they're cut from the same cloth as me, they're going to go just as hard as me, they've worked just as hard as me in that
For
sort
sure.
of dance?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been friends. I wouldn't say like we're best friends and talk all the time. It's hard when you end up going your separate ways and are at different colleges and things like that. And, I've always been a fan of hers and always been supportive, and I watch as much as I can just because I love basketball and I love people that compete and make their team better, and that's what she's always been able to do. So, but I mean, I just admire the way she plays. I admire the confidence she has in herself. Every single night she steps up to the challenge. She doesn't shy away from anything. And, as a competitor, that's what you really love. So I think that's honestly what I appreciate the most. And I think just her leadership, like you could feel that, especially at UConn and now coming into the W, I feel like she's certainly a leader of the wings, whether she's played, whether it was her first game or not, now in game 20, like I think she's been that voice for them.
Kaitlin, I remember a few weeks or months ago you were saying you're not the most patient person.
No.
But I guess just given what you went through with the injuries so far this year, given even just like coming back and trying to find your shot, do you feel like you've grown in that aspect? Is it still a work in progress? And like, how's that self-talk? I know you alluded to it with Rachel's question.
For sure.
How's
I
that
mean,
developing?
It's a balance of like, I mean, me and Steph were talking yesterday. Is like I've been in and out of the lineup, trying to come back, trying to find my legs, trying to find my shot. Like it's just like so many different things, and also trying to help this team win. And I feel like there was a lot of positives I could take away from the way I've built off the last 2 games, and that was what Steph was trying to just show me. But I think patience-wise, I'm not a very patient person, and I think that's kind of going back to the previous question. Like I think that's what's kind of been a little bit more frustrating for myself is like my shot feels really good, and I feel like it's right there. So it's like, all right, come on, like when am I gonna have one of those games? And I know it's coming, but I feel like this is like probably one of the biggest areas of growth over the course of my career, what I've gone through so far this season. And just being so in and out of the lineup and just some inconsistency, it's just really challenged me mentally. And, I know this is all going to certainly pay off at some point, and, it only is going to make you better. So just try to view it in that way.
Okay, when you just talked about individual consistency, but the team has also talked about team consistency being a goal going into the break and out of the break. What does that look like for this Indiana Fever team? What is team consistency, and what does that feel like when it is happening?
Yeah, I think it looks like the way we played in the 3rd and 4th quarter versus Atlanta. And we've had glimpses throughout the season where we've been really, really good. Like even our New York game, and then we beat Connecticut, and then we go to lose 2 very winnable games where we had the lead in both 4th quarters versus Golden State and Vegas. And so I think it's just that mental resiliency in 4 quarters of a game. Like I feel like we have it sometimes for 3 quarters, for 2 quarters, and then we are lax in 1 quarter. And in this league, everybody can beat everybody. I think that's what has been the beautiful thing about the league this year. Like truly from you look top to bottom, anybody can beat anybody. I think it's going to make it the playoff race really interesting. I think once we get into the playoffs, like I don't think there's a clear cut, maybe other than Minnesota and New York, of like who's really going to show out and, make it to the championship. So I think for us is like we have to find a way to build every single night. And I think today is a great opportunity. I thought we responded really well to, getting destroyed on our home court, and we found a way to beat Atlanta, which is one of the best teams in this league. And now we play Dallas. Like we have to find a way to play the same exact way that we did versus Atlanta.
Are you at a critical point in the season to build on the great win of the other day, going into the break and stack some wins?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. It's not a panic time by any means, but, I think for us, continuing to stack and build consistency. I mean, we've had 2 games where we've had our whole roster and most of our rotation players and still 0 practices to be able to get in there. But being able to continue to build consistency on both ends of the floor, certainly we were better in the second half than we were in the first half against Atlanta, and we've got to come out and we've got to continue to stack days.
What are you seeing just in the way Paige approaches the game and also the attention that comes around her being sort of similar to Kaitlin, just in so much spotlight and handling it, obviously, with a lot of success early on?
She doesn't press. She lets the game come to her. Things seem so easy for her when she's out there. She plays with great pace. Her decision making is really good. She's poised. She doesn't get too high, too low. I mean, she stays very much in that neutral mindset. And her and Kaitlin both, the way that they handle everything that comes off the floor, they handle it with such grace and maturity for young people. And I think you see that same kind of level mentality on the floor for her.
Steph, Kaitlin was saying that it sounded like you had a conversation with her after the last game about just the shooting slump, or by her standards, and that just like that back and forth of trying to say, everyone kind of goes through this, even great shooters. So what has that kind of dialogue been like, and how have you seen her working through that? Trying to give herself grace, but also like I think you called her a perfectionist before, and that side of it too.
Yeah, I mean, look, when that's what you do, and, it's and working your way back into it is really difficult. And I use those words with her too. She has to give herself grace. She's coming back from injury. She's not had a lot of rep time, and it's strength, it's endurance, it's rhythm, it's timing, it's all of those things. And everything that she does that makes her special and elite starts with loading that left leg. And so allowing herself to continue to let the game come to her while attacking great shots. She got some really good shots that looked really good. I don't worry about Kaitlin's shot. It's going to come. I don't really worry about her mentality either. I just want her to have a little bit of patience, to give herself a little bit of grace, and to still do the other things that she does so well in the game that affect winning. Because yes, she's an elite shooter. Yes, that's what everybody wants to see. But she makes other winning plays, and she can control those things and control the things that you can control. Continue to work through the rhythm, the timing, the strength, the endurance, and it's going to come.
When it comes to stacking days and that consistency, how much of it is mental and the mindset you bring into practice and games?
I think a lot of it's mental. It's certainly, what you give attention to mentally and emotionally continues to feed. How you attack every day, how you attack execution in a scout, how you attack practice. A lot of that starts with a mentality. And then you have to go out and you have to work through different things that happen throughout the course of the game. It's not always going to be exactly like we imagine it when we go and put together a scout, or exactly like we imagine it when we go into practice. And then we've got to self-correct, and we've got to find other gears, and we've got to control the things that we can control.
Guarding a person like Paige, who can affect on both ends of the floor. She had 27, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 0 turnovers. The challenges of defending someone that can affect the game in so many ways.
Was that our last game? Yeah. I think first and foremost, we have to try to be disciplined one-on-one, not just with Paige, but with everybody else. I mean, they have great guards that can get downhill. We got to contain one-on-one. We can't get beat on the first dribble. That puts us automatically in rotation. Secondly, we have to just make everything difficult for her, and you got to live with it. Great players make tough shots. Like, good offense beats good defense. Great players who are tough shot makers are going to make tough shots, and those are the ones we have to live with. We can't give her the easy ones. We can't send her to the foul line. No, we've got to be really, really disciplined when we get her to take tough shots, that we force her to make them and don't get impatient and foul. She sees the floor really well, so we got to try to speed her up a little bit and keep her off balance. It's easier said than done.
Alluded to how Kaitlin and Paige are role models for a lot of people. I know this is Fever Wings, not just Kaitlin v. Paige, but what does a matchup like this do for the league with it growing so rapidly right now?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to see star players. You think about who tunes in to watch LeBron and Steph, right? It's those kinds of matchups, and I think to watch these guys for the first time, going against each other in their WNBA careers is going to be special. I'm thankful that we've got a lot of people that are going to be out there in the stands. We've got a lot of young people that are going to be out there in the stands that can continue to watch the way that they go about their business, the way that they handle greatness. They don't see what they've done to get to this point, but I think both Kaitlin and Paige do a really good job of openly discussing that, the work that it takes. In my day, it's watching, Cheryl Swoops and Lisa Leslie, and in their day, it's watching Kaitlin and Paige.